Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another flea market finds episode. This is stuff I picked at a swap meet down in Connecticut this past weekend, which I believe was October 27th. And that show is run twice a year, and it's usually a pretty decent swap meet for me. So I did okay. So let's reposition the camera and we'll dive right in. It was still pretty early in the morning, and I was using a flashlight to look through a trailer full of junk, and this guy had a big box of miscellaneous hammers. Everything on his trailer was dirt cheap, and I was looking through the hammers and I spotted this Lixie hammer, and it's in great shape. And I asked him how much are the hammers, and he said they're $2 each. So I snagged this nice Lixie hammer for $2. Lixies, you can always tell, you could spot them a mile away because of this unusual handle design. And then this one is also clearly marked. And a Lixie hammer, for those of you who do not know, have these cast metal heads that have these replaceable plastic tips, and you can get the color coding indicates that these are different hardnesses, and you can get several different sizes of these hammers, and then there are several different compositions of plastic head that you can get for them, depending on how aggressive you want to be. $2 is a great deal for that hammer, though. In here, keeping the oil from getting all over everything, is, yes, another brass Eagle oil can. I know a while back I said I gotta stop buying these because I buy too many of them. This one was clean as a whistle. I happened to be at a guy's table when a guy was looking at this oil can, and he asked how much the oil cans were, because there was some other just, plainer ones, and the guy said $5 a piece. And I immediately thought, man, that's a nice looking can for $5. And the guy picked up this can, because of course that's the one he really wanted, and he was looking at it and he was thinking about it, and I said, buddy, if you're not taking that for $5, I will. And surprisingly, he said to me, go ahead. I guess his heart just wasn't in it. Maybe he's like me and he's got so many of these, he's gonna stop buying them, I don't know. But anyways, I was glad to get this for $5. Nice can. Look at that, I already dripped oil on this. I saw a guy there who has machinist tools occasionally. He had a machinist toolbox, and down at one end I spotted a box that had some things in it. Nothing really that great, but I did spot this Precision brand True Punch. And what this is a punch for shim stock. I've had these before, but I've had like one just where I just had this block, right, with nothing else to go with it. And then I think another time I ended up having the block in a cardboard box, in an original box with some of the punches. But this is kind of neat because it's got the block and pretty much all the punch sizes you need. And in addition, it's got these extra little tips that you could put on here. So anyways, this whole set right here is actually a pretty nice set. This is for punching holes in thin material like shim stock. You slide the material in here, you put the appropriate punch in the appropriate hole, and you hit it. So there was that, and then rather than buy this right away, he suggested I look through the other stuff he had. He had an old machinist toolbox that had a lot of water damage on the back. It was a Gerstner, but the back side was really delaminating badly. And he wanted to sell the whole box with everything in it. I looked through the whole box. He wanted $200 for the whole lot, I think. He wanted $250, and then he said, yeah, he'd do $200. I looked through it. There was a lot of junk in there I didn't want. So I told him, I said, yeah, I'd have to say I don't think I'd be interested in it, but I said, there's a couple items in there if you want to make, if you want me to make an offer. So we ended up agreeing on $50 for the lot, which included this that I already picked out of the other location. This, which is a Starrett number 20 square. Oh, I'm sorry, number 55 square. This is actually a better one. This is a number 55 square. This is the bevel edge, knife edge square, in excellent shape, Starrett. And what I just thought was really cool was this case that I believe is not Starrett. I believe somebody made this case. but I just thought it was really neat. And this trammel point set right here, which unfortunately, oh no, wait a minute. I did find the little plastic container with the points in it in the toolbox in another drawer. And I explained to him that those belong to this. So I said, even if you don't sell this stuff to me, I said, you want to keep that with this. And he ended up selling it to me anyways. But I cannot find any maker's name anywhere on this trammel point set. So I don't know if that looks familiar to anybody out there who wants to show me how great they are and tell me exactly who makes this. So it's a little rusted up. So not much value here on this trammel point set. It's mainly these two pieces that I paid the money for. And then from another guy, I went through a bunch of stuff that he had on a table and I put together this assortment. We kind of went back and forth and haggled on price, and I ended up finally getting him to agree to give me the contents of this bag for $100. And what's in this bag for $100? Well, let's check it out. For starters, I have 5 machinist parallel clamps. Initially, he thought these were all sterrets. I pointed out to him that several of them are unmarked, which led us to working out a deal where I basically ended up being into these for about $5 a piece. This is a Sterret 161C. This is a Sterret 161D. This is what sure as heck looks like, yeah, this is another, this is a pair. So these are two 161Ds. And then these two, they look like Sterrets, but they are completely unmarked. But they almost look to me as if they've been ground. And the reason why I say that is because look, these have the same case hardening finish on all of the sides, but not on the two faces there. So I think somebody ground these things. Because if you hold them up to the, well, yeah. If we look at them next to this series, you can see that the design is almost identical. So if this is $25 worth of this stuff, then I still got 75 more to go in here, right? And I think this is another $25 worth right here. This is a genuine Aloris tool post holder. This is a holder for a tool post holder. What the hell am I talking about? This is a genuine Aloris holder for a parting blade. And it's a BXA 7, so it's a BXA size, which is a nice size. I think that's for like 10 to 12 inch swing lathes. So I'm into that for $12.50. And this, which looks like it's a Bridgeport quill handle, I think. So I have a Wells Index mill which uses a completely different looking handle, but this to me looks like it's a Bridgeport handle. So that means I paid $50 for the last two items in this bag, so we'll call them 25 each. This one I'm not too sure about. It's got some damage here where it was hit by a grinder by the looks of it. But this is kind of a neat angle block with a V. It has these little T-slots. So originally there must have been some sort of a clamp that went in here or some very small T-bolts. I really wish I was able to find amongst all the stuff he had there. I looked through it several times with a fine-tooth comb and I could not find any accessories to go to this. But this is actually marked Tools of Quality, Lassie of Plainville, Connecticut, model 15. We'll put Google to work on this right now and see whether or not I can figure out what is missing from this neat looking fixture. But I may have overpaid for that. So these must have been pretty good jigs back in the day, because used ones on eBay, people are asking pretty good money for them. The interesting thing is the Model 15s that I'm finding on eBay, they don't have the V-groove. I'm sorry, no, they have the V-groove. They don't have these slots, and so they have a different mounting scheme, and they come with almost like a standard V-block clamp that would go on here and go into tapped holes that don't exist on this one. So this is a little bit different version of the 15. But the ones on eBay, they come in the original wooden case with the socket-headed cap screws for fixturing. So I have no idea what this is going to end up being worth. Cheapest one on eBay right now is $165, but of course that's the asking price. That doesn't mean they're going to get that. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any of these type fixtures that sold from this company. I did find some other tools that sold, so it does seem like they are a quality tool manufacturer down there in Plainville, Connecticut. And that's not even the one that I got excited about. This is the one that I got excited about. This plain looking V-block right here, which is clearly marked Suburban Tool of Auburn Mills, Michigan. And this has got the motto, Tools to Grow With, on there. The slogan, Tools to Grow With, on there. So as soon as I saw that this was a Suburban Tool angle plate, I thought maybe I had something. And what I mean by had something was like had a really good deal on my way. And sure enough, I'm into this for 25 bucks, I figure. And these Suburban Tool angle plates, and also Taft Pierce angle plates, which Suburban Tool now owns, are high-end precision tools for grinding. So this should be worth at least 50 bucks. So figure I can double my money on that one. This one's a question mark, and the other ones I'll make a little bit of money on. One of the other items that were in the drawers in this guy's stuff was this nice Best Test Brown and Sharp. Looks like it's a model 7033-5. So this is a .00005 resolution indicator. It seems to be working perfectly fine. The dovetails are in pretty good shape. It is engraved. It was due for calibration back in 1987, but it's just a nice, large face, good quality test indicator. And it's even got a snug attached to it. And so I don't remember what he wanted for this early on when I was there, but when I went back later on to pick up some of my stuff, he still had it there, and I bought some other items from him, and I managed to get him, I was trying to get this thing for 20 bucks. I managed to get him to down to 25. He was firm on 25, and then I spotted in another box that he had dug out of the truck while I was gone, this little doohickey, which is actually, it's an extra screw for a Starrett screw jack. And I know that I have some plain Starrett screw jacks that didn't come with this originally, but I could just add this to one of those when I go to sell it and increase its value. So I got him to throw this in if I paid him the 25 for that. Another guy had hardly any machinist tools, but he did have these micrometer heads sitting there. And this one, it's just a Starrett 663 micrometer head, and I really didn't think I have any use for it. It's in great shape, but I just don't really have a use for it. So I wasn't really that interested in that one. This one caught my eye though. And the reason why this one caught my eye is because this is a direct reading one. It's got the numerical digital indicator there, and it seems to actually work perfectly fine. So I thought this would be handy for somebody who wants to make themselves a micrometer carriage stop. So before I could ask him how much he wanted for this, I turned this over and I saw that he had $10 for both. Sticker on here that said $10 for both. And then he had $10 on this new old stock stop for vice jaws. This is a 1/2 inch to 7/8 large type work stop from Machine Vice. It's got what looks like a typical MSC part number, maybe, I don't know. This was apparently bought back in 2014, and I got him to take 15 for the 3, which I thought was a great deal. A guy I see there occasionally who has, sometimes he has stuff for me, but more than often than not, he's often out there picking just like I am, and if he finds any good quality machinist tools, he doesn't even bring them back to his site and put them out for sale. He takes them right home and puts them on eBay. But he does occasionally sell me something, and case in point, he had this book he thought I might like because he knows I bought books from him before. This is the Students Shop Reference USA-made publication. Student Shop Reference Handbook. So this is kind of like the machinery handbook, but it's got a lot more text to go along with the stuff that's in here to kind of better explain the usage. So it's kind of interesting, and he had $5 on that, so I bought that. Guy had some old junky vintage electronics. I almost missed this because it was on the ground behind a pile of other junk, but luckily it was facing up and I spotted the Sencor. And at first I got excited because I thought it was a Z meter, which is an inductance capacitance tester for testing inductors and capacitors that Sencor made a series of. And unfortunately it's a frequency counter, but it's a nice frequency counter. It's an FC45, and I asked him how much he wanted for this thing. He said $20, and then he had power at his site. He offered to plug it in to show me so I could see if it worked. So we powered it up. It lights up. All of the digits seem to light okay. It doesn't look like it's missing any LED segments. So I was quite happy to give him the $20 for this puppy. All right, coming down to the wire here, almost done. So I found a guy who had a bunch of boxes with old wrenches and junk in them, and buried in one of them I found this nice long handle Greenfield tap wrench. This long handle tap wrench. This has actually got a Greenfield part number on it. Number 337 Greenfield. Seems like it's in great shape, and I got this puppy for $5, which is a heck of a deal. From another vendor, I found this unusual wrench. I really liked the look of it and thought it was kind of neat. Probably going to use this for the thumbnail for this video. I'm guessing this is a tap wrench, even though I've never seen one like this before. But I paid $4 for it and was happy to get it for $4 because I just think it's pretty neat. It does have a name on it, C. Bolo. B-O-L-L-E-A-U, or Bola. I'm not French, so I don't know. At first I thought maybe that was just somebody had really nicely engraved their name on it, but it's identical on both sides, so I kind of think that's actually the name of the manufacturer. So we'll do a little Google magic in a moment and see what this is, if I can find it. One of my buddies that I see at a lot of these shows was there, and he didn't really have too much for me in machinist tools. But one of the items that he had that he kept wanting me to buy so badly, I ended up finally paying him $20 for it, is this tachometer. So this is a brittle tachometer. It has 5 ranges. He said he's got a note here that per eBay it's worth about $45. And I've had these before under different names, and they've all they've been exactly like this, which is what tells me they probably were all made by the same manufacturer. The ones that I think are actually badged by the actual manufacturer were badged Jaquet, J-A-Q-U-E-T, and I think they had a Swiss pedigree to them maybe. But this one is the James Biddle Company of Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. But then right below it clearly says Swiss made. So anyways, what you're going to look for if you find this style tachometer is you're going to make sure that you've got the wheel and the extension and some of these attachments right here that let you basically engage the shaft to whatever the heck it is you're trying to measure. So I did, initially when I tried this it didn't seem like it was working, and then it started freeing up, so I think it was just a little gummed up from sitting so long. But on the lowest range, when I turn it, it does move, so I have no reason to believe that this isn't a working tachometer. It was inspected by number 54. It has the instructions with it, which is kind of nice, and it's in a good decent case. So I'm okay with that for $20. Then I decided I was going to take one more quick walk around, figuring that at this point it was late enough in the day, there was a good sized crowd there, that pretty much anything that I hadn't seen already was probably either gone or was too expensive, right? And then like almost right next to Roger's booth, I go up to this guy's booth who I had walked by several times and didn't spot that he had a couple of random machinist tools in a case, one of those display cases. And when I went up and looked, I spotted that behind the case on the table, he had this Starrett box. And I thought, okay, what's that going to be? That's going to be what? That's going to be a 196 indicator, which I've got tons of, right? But at least this one, it's in a nice case, and it's got the, you know, it'll have the accessories, right? Well, let's see, right? Then I see it's got 35 bucks on it. So I'm like, okay, all right. Still sitting here. It's later in the day, 35 bucks. He might even move on this price. Then I open it up. The bad news is it's missing any accessories that would have come with it in this case, which I don't even know what this came with originally. The good news is this is not a 196. This is the seldom found in the wild Starrett 811 dial test indicator. It's got this nice long probe on it. It appears to be working perfectly fine. It seems to return okay. And what's cool about this is, other than the last word, Starrett wasn't really known for making too many dial test indicators. This is one of the ones that they made, and what's unique about this one is this has a swivel head. So you can flip this up like this and it becomes now a vertical style dial test indicator. So you don't find these too often. So there is one attachment in there, and he had 35 on it, and I said, hey, you got 35 on this, would you go 30? And he said sure. And so I got a great deal on this, I think. And I was kind of surprised actually that it was still sitting there after you know, the amount of time that had gone by. I also noticed that a lot of the other stuff he had in the case, more common things like depth micrometers and that, he had them priced kind of high. I guess he just maybe didn't look this up or wasn't sure what it was worth, or maybe he felt because of the age that it just wouldn't warrant it. But I'm quite happy with that for 30 bucks. All right, I got one item left, and then we're going to call this a wrap, so let me go grab that. First, let's look at this mystery item. Well, guys, sorry to disappoint, but I am striking out. I think the C. Bolo name that's on here, engraved on here, is in fact maybe just the owner's name and not a company name, because that's not coming up as anything. And then as far as Google Lens goes, it keeps showing me things that are not this, something else. So I do not know what this is supposed to be for. But again, it's just it would make a nice tap wrench, I think, because your square hex would sit right down in here, so you could put small ones in here or larger ones in here. All right, let me show you that last item. And this was a lot that I bought. I put together the whole lot. I forgot how much he wanted for each one individually, and I said, what if I take the whole lot? We went back and forth, and we settled on 90 bucks for what I'm about to show you. Oh, I almost forgot. Spotted this at a guy's booth. Didn't have too much machinist stuff, but he had this R8 collet rack, and it seems like a pretty decent one. He's got a piece of plywood, a couple of hunks of plywood screwed into it to stiffen it up and make it more stable. And I said, hey, what do you want for the collet rack? And he said, 10 bucks. And before I could even agree to pay him the 10 bucks for it, he says, for you, 5. So, talk about twisting my arm. 5 bucks for a nice R8 collet rack. And this pile of stuff right here is what I ended up putting together for 90 bucks. And what this is this is all bandsaw blade stock. These red ones here are Starrett, and the ones that are yellow are Dual. So they're all good quality American-made blade stock. So this is for people who have large bandsaws and have access to a blade welder. And what you do is you reel off how much you need for your size, cut it, and then you weld the two ends together. Just for example, this is 1/2 inch width, 0.025 thickness, 14 teeth per inch regular rake. Now the question is, how much is in each one of these, right? Because that matters. So this one, you can see through the window here, it's pretty chock full, and I can tell from the weight there's quite a bit in there. This one also pretty full, it's identical to that one. So you had 20 bucks a piece on these. This is a all right, this is 10 teeth per inch, 1/2 inch. This one's also pretty full. Let's get the last Starrett out of the way. Okay, so this one has quite a bit missing from it already. So these are originally 100-foot coils. So this is 1/2 inch. This is also 10 teeth per inch. These are what the dual ones look like. So that's a thicker, narrower blade, I can tell. This is 43 thousandths thick. Yeah, this is 0.043 for thickness, 1/4 inch. Doesn't actually say the tooth count though. Actually, there's 2 numbers here, 0.025. Buttress. Huh. Well, I'll have to look that one up, I guess, to figure out what it is. We had a fast-moving little shower that came through, and a little bit of water got on these, but they'll be okay. This is 1/2 inch, 14 pitch. Again, this is originally would have been 100 feet in here, and it's about, oh, half full. That one's got that much left in it. That one's got that much left in it. And this one appears to be brand new, unopened. Yeah, these are, no, this is a full one. So I guess the window doesn't have to be completely full for it to be a full one. Yeah, you're gonna rip this tab open to get to dispense it. So there's 9 of them here, so I'm into these for 10 bucks a piece. So I think I'll do okay with that. I'd probably consider keeping some of this stuff for my own bandsaw, but I don't know. A lot of these look like they're for wood cutting, so. Anyways, that's going to bring this episode to a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing and sharing the video. Till next time, take care.